This didn't make any sense to her. How did a melody that she had locked down over the summer, last summer, suddenly appear on Jennifer Lopez's album? This was something that really bothered her.
Baby, you probably heard all the whispers about Beyoncé and J.Lo making major power moves in the industry, but what if they didn't just climb to the top? What if they snatched the throne that was meant for Mariah Carey? Not by chance, not by accident, but by design. The claim that they straight up pushed Mariah out and took over her lane step by step. And here's the wild part. It's not just gossip from the streets. This drama, it's coming from Mariah herself. Allegedly, of course, but still, that changes everything. Buckle up, because this story gets messy real quick. Now let's keep it real. Back in the 90s, Mariah was untouchable. She was writing bangers, producing her own albums, running her brand, and sitting pretty at the top of the charts. No one could touch her crown. In an industry that rarely gave real power to women, especially women of color, Mariah Carey broke every rule and made it look effortless. She was all glammed up, mysterious, multiracial, and hopping across genres like it was nothing. Pop, R&B, hip hop, you name it, she ruled it. She was the blueprint, no debate, full stop. And let's not forget, if you rewind the clock, you'll catch Beyoncé praising Mariah like she was divine or something. We're talking full-on admiration, like Mariah was the sun, the moon, and the voice of an angel all in one. Beyoncé even said out loud that Mariah was the reason she picked up a mic in the first place. She wasn't out here name-dropping Whitney or Aretha at the start. It was Mariah who had her starstruck. Beyoncé gave full credit to Vision of Love for lighting that fire inside her to start singing. If you dig around, there are interviews and clips where young Beyoncé is visibly shook by Mariah's insane vocal range and superstar energy. She was out here fangirling for real. Mariah Carey's voice comes from God. That's the energy Beyoncé was giving back then. Honey, something definitely shifted between them, because out of nowhere, all that praise and fangirl energy from Beyoncé just vanished. No more shout-outs, no more glowing interviews. People started speculating that Beyoncé might have hit a point where she felt like she had surpassed Mariah and didn't need to show love anymore. Let's be honest here. Mariah's legacy is undeniably iconic. But when it comes to respect from critics, she doesn't always get the same flowers as legends like Michael Jackson or Prince. Yeah, she's crowned the queen of vocals, but the media loves to box her in as that sparkly diva who pops out every December in heels and a Santa dress. Like, that's all she is. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's on a mission to be seen as the next MJ or even a female version of Prince. She wants her name tied to game-changing visuals, deep sonic evolution, and full-blown cultural impact. So maybe in her eyes, Mariah doesn't fit that picture, doesn't elevate that legacy she's building. And here's where it gets even messier. Some people are saying Beyoncé's climb wasn't just talent and hustle. Word is, she might have actually snatched the career that should have stayed in Mariah's hands. It wasn't just a passing of the torch, it was a takeover. It might not have been a face-to-face sabotage, but behind the scenes. There's serious talk that Beyoncé, and more importantly, her very connected husband, allegedly helped tilt the scales against Mariah. While Beyoncé's star was blasting off, Mariah's light started dimming. Coincidence? Some folks say definitely not. In this game, it's all about who you know and how far you're willing to go. And let's be real, those who play nice with the right people and kiss up behind closed doors, they get pushed to the front, while raw talents like Mariah get shoved to the side. Now here comes the plot twist. Jennifer Lopez enters the scene. Around the same time Beyoncé was rising, J.Lo popped up out of nowhere. Stunning? Absolutely. Got stage presence? No doubt. But let's not pretend she was anywhere close to Mariah vocally, not even in the same galaxy. Still, somehow J.Lo gets crowned a global superstar. She lands blockbuster movies, fashion deals, fragrance empires, and even headlines the Super Bowl halftime show like it's no big deal. And even though there's no solid proof that Beyoncé had a hand in J.Lo's rise, what is clear is this: something shady went down. Flashback to when Mariah was dealing with drama from her ex, Tommy Mottola. She was working on glitter and had locked in a rare sample from Yellow Magic Orchestra's 1978 track Firecracker for her single Loverboy. But then, Boom, she was blindsided just like the rest of us. Mariah was stunned when she heard the exact melody she had secured for her own track playing on Jennifer Lopez's album. Imagine locking down a rare sample for your upcoming single, only to hear it suddenly dropped in someone else's song before yours even drops? Yeah, it was that dirty. J.Lo already had some clout from her In Living Color days, sure, but breaking into the music scene, that was a struggle. She didn't have the voice for Broadway, and her acting chops weren't strong enough to carry her far back then either. Enter Tommy Mottola, Mariah's ex-husband and the head of Sony, their marriage falling apart fast. Mariah was desperate to escape both the relationship and the label, but Tommy wasn't about to let her walk away clean. So what did he do? According to insiders and even Mariah herself, he played real dirty. He allegedly gave J.Lo the exact song Mariah had already recorded, Loverboy, just to spite her. Then he shelved Mariah's version and rushed J.Lo's out to the public first, and here's the kicker. J.Lo knew what was going down and she didn't stop it. She leaned right into it. Mariah didn't hold back either. She spilled everything in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. She made it clear Tommy was bitter, furious about the divorce, and he weaponized his industry power to punish her. And glitter? That whole era fell apart because of him. There was no way he was gonna let me win after I left him and Sony, Mariah revealed. And she meant it. According to her, Tommy Mottola made it his mission to stop her shine. Right after hearing her track, complete with the sample she hunted down, Sony allegedly scrambled to push out a single using that exact same sample. But for another female artist on the label, and guess what? Mariah straight up said, "I don't even know her." Ooh, speaking of that legendary line, how could we forget? When Mariah was asked to share her thoughts on other female singers in the game, she gave Beyoncé her props, saying she was nice and a good writer. But then came the moment that still lives rent-free in pop culture history. When asked about Jennifer Lopez, Mariah paused and simply said, "I don't know her." Iconic, chilly, instant classic. And it didn't stop there. On Larry King Live back in 2002, when Larry asked if there was any beef in the music world, especially between her and J.Lo, Mariah hit him with another savage line. "There's no competition if the other person can't sing." Boom. Oh, and let's not forget, Mariah didn't hold back when it came to the rumors that J.Lo wasn't even doing her own vocals. Yep, she threw serious shade on that too. In an interview with Talk Magazine, Mariah threw major shade when the topic of sleep came up. J.Lo had claimed she was getting a comfy 8 hours a night, but Mariah clapped back with pure fire. "If I had the luxury of not having to sing my own songs, darling, I'd do that too, honey." Boom. That wasn't just a cute jab. That was a direct hit. And let's be real, this whole J.Lo doesn't actually sing narrative, it's been floating around for years. Let's rewind to 2001 when J.Lo dropped I'm Real from her second album, J.Lo. Sounds simple, right? But behind the scenes, total chaos. According to Ashanti, that track was originally being saved for her, but then out of nowhere, it vanished from her lineup. Irv Gotti, who had signed Ashanti to Murder Inc., admitted he handed the song over to J.Lo. And here's the kicker. The version J.Lo released still has Ashanti's background vocals in it, allegedly because J.Lo couldn't lay the vocals the way they needed. Yep, Ashanti was still all over that track. But hold up, it gets even shadier. That song, I'm Real, it was initially meant for Mariah before even Ashanti got her hands on it. And guess who stepped in to reroute it straight to J.Lo? Tommy Mottola. Irv Gotti confirmed it. Tommy told him to pass the track to J.Lo just to mess with Mariah. That level of petty? Unmatched. It's almost like they knew Ashanti wouldn't play dirty and help sabotage Mariah, so they brought in J.Lo to do the job instead. And get this, I'm Real wasn't the only track that had Ashanti's fingerprints all over it. Did you know she also wrote the lyrics for another one of J.Lo's hits, Ain't It Funny? Yep, Ashanti wrote the lyrics, sang the chorus, added ad-libs, and J.Lo just had to waltz into the studio and lay down a basic vocal track. That's it. The heavy lifting was already done. And the drama doesn't stop there. J.Lo almost snatched What's Love too. The tea came straight from Fat Joe himself. He spilled that the track was this close to being pulled from Ashanti and handed over to J.Lo. And what's worse, J.Lo knew the song was already promised to Ashanti, but she was still ready to take it with no hesitation. Fat Joe recalled how the whole thing went down. Irv and Ja Rule called me at like 3 in the morning. They were like, yo, come down, we got a song for you. I hit the studio at 4 a.m. They played What's Love and asked, you want it? They were like, this is for you and J.Lo. We want the Latinos on this. Wild. Ashanti eventually opened up about the disrespect she faced, especially being erased from projects she built from the ground up. In an interview with Metro UK, she kept it real. You should always care about credit for what you do, no matter what industry you're in. And after 2 decades of silence, she finally started speaking her truth, because the way she was treated, totally unfair at giving credit where it's due, that's more important now than ever, especially in an industry full of smoke, mirrors, and straight-up shady moves. Ashanti said it herself. It's frustrating, but over the last few years, people have finally started waking up, connecting the dots, and realizing just how much she contributed behind the scenes. And yeah, she's grateful for the recognition, even if it came late. In that same interview, Ashanti didn't hold back about how it felt seeing someone like J.Lo use her vocals while pretending they were her own. She admitted it was a weird mix of emotions, frustration for not being credited or labeled properly, but also a strange kind of admiration that came later on. That pain turned into respect. But the damage was already done. And let's be clear, Ashanti isn't the only one. There's a whole list of artists, especially Black women in the industry, who J.Lo has allegedly taken from without giving proper recognition. And Beyoncé, she's had similar allegations floating around too. But now it looks like Mariah Carey might finally be ready to break her silence. Word is she's about to tell it all. The shady sabotage, the stolen records, the power plays, everything that went down behind closed doors. Insiders say she's been working on something big, maybe a second memoir, maybe a documentary, or maybe she's just been waiting for the right moment to unleash the truth, including what roles Beyoncé and J.Lo may have secretly played in the takedown. And when Mariah talks, the whole world listens. If Mariah really decides to spill, we might finally get answers to the rumors that have been floating around for decades. Was J.Lo knowingly used as a pawn during the whole glitter sabotage? Did Beyoncé really back away from Mariah because she no longer fit the polished image she was curating? Or was it all part of a bigger machine, one that decided Mariah was just too much, too emotional, too bold, too unfiltered, and moved the spotlight to someone more manageable? Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure, it's gonna be messy. What do you think really went down? Let's talk in the comments.